Welcome back to FredTalk. I am your host, Freddie Valoy. Welcome to another. I got to get a thesaurus because I think the last 10 episodes I said this was exciting. It's an exciting episode, and they are, right? They are exciting. I'm not lying to you. But I should go. I'm gonna for the next episode, I promise you. The next episode, I'm gonna get a thesaurus. I'm gonna find other words for exciting, and I'm gonna use those to mix it in. I don't like doing the same thing all the time. I don't like telling people the same thing all the time. I need structure because of my personality type, but I also need to break the structure at some point, or else I feel like I'm dying inside. Okay. And now when I say the word exciting, I start to die a little bit inside. So that means you got to switch it up, right? If you're doing the same shit that's making you die a little bit inside, you got to switch it up. And I got to do that. That's going to be my thing for this new year, new birth year, because I just turned 37 yesterday. So this is kind of like the birthday episode a little bit. So if you're wondering, damn, dude, I've been listening to this guy's podcast or maybe listen to a couple episodes. I like Freddie. He's a cool dude. How can I support? Well, how can I hook him up for his birthday? Go ahead and sign up to my Patreon. $5 a month will get you extra content. A lot more personal content, still relationship based. Some of the earlier Patreon stuff is fun though. I'm trying out different things. I go through Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. I go through half of it, but the dude was onto something. That's all I'm going to say. It's the Unabomber. For those of you who don't know who Ted Kaczynski is, the long and the short of it is he would have been a great Instagram influencer. If he existed today, or he's still, I think he's in a prison in Colorado right now. But if he was out, he would probably be crushing it on Instagram. Like in an alternate timeline, Ted Kaczynski is like a health and wellness type thing. And there's a thin line between Instagram influencer and eco-anarchist terrorist. So just so you guys know that, all right? So if you have friends that are into the influencer thing, just check on them every now and then, because they'll take a hard left at any point in time for those followers, all right? So sign up to my Patreon. $5 a month gets you extra content. Some of the later stuff the past few months is more relationship based, because that's when we decided to commit to be the fourth best relationship podcast on the planet. I don't know what the first three are, but if we can get into the top five, we're already there in my heart and in my mind. We just got to have reality catch up to that. That's it. That's where I'm at. That's where FredTalk is at. Thank you for joining us. 37. This is year 2 of old ass nigga territory. If you don't know what that means, another phrase for old ass nigga territory for my white listeners that don't say the N word, or for ones that say it behind closed doors, but maybe in public, you obviously can't say that. It's middle age. Middle age is old ass nigga territory for men. I don't know what that number is for women. I'm not going to speak on women's issues like that. Cause there's definitely women. There's issues with age and women. And I'm not going to start saying that 36-year-old or 35-year-old women are old, because it's not my place. Old ass bitches. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, 37, old ass nigga territory. It's year 2. I'm liking it. I've been called Unc once. Unc means in black community, it's short for uncle. It's a term of endearment. It's a term of respect that a younger black kid gives to an older black man. Unc. I've been called Unc once since I hit 35. No, 36 is the first year of OAN. 37's year 2. So 35 is the last year where you can officially call yourself young as a man, in my opinion. So it's been good. I definitely hurt my back. I used to kind of like frown at people who had hurt backs, and people always complain about back pain. There's memes about, oh, when you're 30, you have back pain. I went through half my 30s without it, and now I do. So I've been tending to an injury, and it's changed. It made me focus on my health more, for sure. So what that means is I was taking my health for granted, which is sad, right? You don't want to do that. We only have so many years left, and I got about 40 if I'm lucky. 2 if I do it right. You know what I'm saying? So 37's good. Sign up to my Patreon. I didn't do much. Men shouldn't talk about their birthdays much. Men want to celebrate a week-long birthday, but we can't, because then we'd be called gay. And it would be kind of gay if you try to celebrate your birthday for a week, right? My birthday was yesterday. I didn't do much. I wanted to be a man about it and not even tell people about my birthday but I'm not that mysterious as a dude. So every now and then it would just come up in conversation, and I'm like, it just naturally like, hey, it's my birthday. I got a little piece of cheesecake, which was nice. This is riveting content, right? This is riveting. I ate cheesecake, guys. What do you want me to do? 37 was 37. There's nothing I could say. We're gonna get to today's stories. All right, check it out. So I got some studies that were done, and this is I've referenced this Instagram account before, Psychology Post. They post studies on certain things, psychological stuff, but they've been putting some more relationship based stuff in there. And this one says, research finds that premature sexual intercourse and more sexual partners are risk factors for depression, right? So they're saying if you had sex, the earlier you have sex and the more people you have sex, the more, the higher chance you have of having MDD, which for them, it's major depression disorder. One could also say that having MDD will cause you to have sex earlier and have sex with more people. You got to be careful with studies, right? Because everybody knows, anyone who's ever is kind of into studies is like, correlation doesn't necessarily mean causality, right? Just because they're correlated or they're associated doesn't mean it's a direct cause of the thing. So you have to be careful on who's doing the study, what was the sample size? Like how many people did they run the study on? Was it a number significant enough to make the study valid? And I forget what that number is. It's somewhere in the 100. I think it's like 700 or some shit like that. And the more people you have, the more valid the study is. So this one says that to unveil the casual associations between sexual factors and major depression disorders. What the hell? See, already they're using a non-committal language. Researchers sought to unveil the casual associations. What is a casual associations? Already I'm kind of, my defenses are up. Even the study itself is being a fuckboy. The study itself is like, why we got to put a title on it though? Why can't we just associate casually, right? Why we gotta we can't say cause. Oh, wait, researchers sought to unveil the casual associations. Yeah, they can't. Cause would be we're exclusive on Facebook, right, or social media. I'm posting you to my timeline or whatever, on Instagram. That's the cause. Like this study proves that this causes this. This one's more like a situationship. This study is what it sounds like, right? Researchers sought to unveil the casual associations between sexual factors and major depression disorder. So already we're getting loosey-goosey with this study, right? Age and sexual partners. It also said that if you smoke cigarettes, it upped that, which I mean, if you are smoking cigarettes as like a teen, there's a good chance you probably already had sex or you're on your way there. Especially if you're wearing pajama pants, definitely had sex before you were 15. I had sex when I was 14. So I'll use myself as a case study for this one. I had sex, I lost my virginity when I was 14. The last of my friend group. A lot of my friends lost it at 13. And I do have a lot of sexual partners. Not bragging, it just is what it is. And I wasn't depressed all my life. I went through a weird period. I think that was more like situational, me adjusting to the world and what my place in it was. So overall, I wouldn't say I have major depressive disorder. And I had sex young and with a lot of people. And it wasn't towards the end of my hoe phase was where I started to feel bad about having sex with strangers, like casual sex and all that. Some people say that every time they've done it, they felt bad. It was fun for me up until the end, and that was when I was like, oh, maybe I'm done with this. Because here's the thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a lot of sexual partners. I know that there's those accounts I reference on, Fit Life, what is it, Fresh and Fit podcast, all those man accounts that they have young girls on and they dunk on them with facts. There's not a real conversation, and they can post those clips where they do an analogy. If a guy is a key and a woman is a lock, and the lock, it's all that shit. They'll tell you that men want a lower body count, which I think is true. From me talking to dudes, a lot of dudes want a woman with a low body count. And that's cool, right? To each his own. Me personally, I'm more comfortable with a woman that has had a higher body count than average for a woman, because the last thing I'm gonna want in a relationship is like we're 2 or 3 years in, and now you're gonna hit me with the, oh, I didn't explore my sexual life. I didn't get to explore sexually like you did. You know, I didn't. It's that what if is still in there, right? Damn, I should have let the football team tag team me in high school. Why didn't I do? I had the chance, and now I lost it. And now I'm married with kids, and now I can't open that door again. It's too hard to go back at that point. Some marriages do it. Some marriages open up and they're happier for it. Some marriages open up and they fail miserably because maybe they opened it up too late, whatever it was. I want my partner to just get it out of. It's almost like I wanted to get it out of your system. That's it. And a healthy hoe phase, to me, it builds character, right? That's where you learn about yourself. That's where you're feeling lost and you're numbing the woes of life with dick or pussy or whatever. You're trying to fill the hole in your life by filling holes if you're a dude. And maybe if you're a woman too, maybe you go on a pegging spree and that's how you like to roll. That's I'm not judging. All right. So premature sexual intercourse and more sexual partners are risk factors for depression. I think it could be looked at either way on this study here. You could flip it and reverse it. You could Missy Elliott this whole thing, and it could mean one thing or another. But you just got to do what's right for you, right? There's phases in life. Sometimes you got to fuck. Sometimes you gotta hibernate. You got to put the thing away. You got to close doors, right? You got to put a sign up that says condemned. Yeah. I think if you had a lot of partners and then you found the light again, then that's good. I think Carl Jung said this quote, and he says that fear more the person that has never sinned than the person that has sinned and has returned to the light, right? Because I feel like what he's saying there is like that second person, they've sinned, they've been to the outer edges of their humanity, so they're able to like test and see how far they can go before things get really, really bad. And if they make it back, they at least know where that line is, right? I prefer that person because they know where the line is. Whereas the person that has never sinned, they probably they probably have done that out of fear, the church, the family, whatever. And it's almost like to me, it's that person's a ticking time bomb. And according to the Bible, we've all sinned, right? What is it? He who has not sinned cast the first stone. That was the whole point. Jesus dropped the mic on that one real quick. But I prefer the person that has lived wild and come back, because then there's an experience, there's a life. I've also lived that life myself, so there's a commonality, and we can like talk and joke. And I'm just using me as an example here. Everybody has their own thing. But if you're out there, you're listening, and you're like, my girl has 30 people. That's a lot. I'm self-conscious about it, but I love her. Dude, if you already love her, bro, you've won the battle. You got yourself a woman that has lived life, and she's looking for a good man. Like what's the and there's this thing where like if do vaginas get worn out after a lot of sex? Like that to me, I don't believe that. I've never been inside of a vagina and been like, oh my God, this thing is loose. It's what is it? The hot dog down a hallway. That's like the corny ass joke everyone uses. Never felt that. So fellas, if you're feeling that, maybe you should take a look in the mirror, you know? I don't know. But to each his own, dude. But I do think if you want a woman, especially if you want a virgin and you're a 30-year-old man, you're probably a pedophile. I'm gonna just put that out there. The less sexual partners you want with your woman, the higher chance you have to have a pedophile. That's my study that I'm going to put out on Instagram through Psychology Post. Jokes, guys, jokes. All right, moving on to the next story. Another study. This one was not on Psychology Post. This one is on The Hood's Finest. That was actually my nickname in high school, was The Hood's Finest. Study suggests sperm is a natural antidepressant for women. Nice. No, the dudes are like, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Study suggests sperm is a natural antidepressant for women. Can we, it has to be a room full of men. This study was conducted on 300 female college students at the State University of New York in Albany. I heard there's a lot of fucking going on up there. It's upstate New York. You got the Catskills and fucking. There's not much you can do in upstate New York. Exposure to semen may lower symptoms of depression in women. In women. This was definitely done by men. Why can't sperm also be an antidepressant for men? Where's that study? Right? Where's that study at? This is conveniently antidepressant for women. It's like, look, shorty, I got this study here from the University of Albany, and it says that sperm's going to be good for you. And you talk about who's doing the study. What if Albany's wild, bro? What if they do another study where it's like, oh, they found that pegging a man, like your girl comes up, oh, that's funny because University of Albany also said that if I peg my man, it's also an antidepressant for men. So what are we going to do? I'll take more sperm if you're going to take this strap. You feel me? 300 female college students. I got to find out if that makes the study valid or whatever. But study found that females who were not using condoms for sexual intercourse were less depressed than females who did use condoms. Okay. Condom sex sucks. Having sex raw is fun as hell if you're with the right person and you feel safe with them. I think that's where the happiness comes from. Is it the sperm or is it that you're getting raw dogged and it feels great? You're getting dick down proper, right? Have we tested the dick game of the men that these women are having sex with? See the questions we can ask on a study that just makes it all fall apart. Was it one guy giving dick, or was this a cavaclot of dick slingers out there? The study found that females who were not using, hold on, possibly because the sperm was absorbed through the vagina, had a positive effect on mood in women. This is a scientist that wants to raw dog some girl he's talking to, and he fucking cooked this study up real quick so that he can bring it to dinner one night. And in between the entrees and dessert, he's going to be like, hey, look, I actually was running this study. And it says that if we go raw dog, you might get happier. You told me you were a little sad and you took a break from the dating life. But listen, I did this study with my bros up at University of Albany, and it looks like I can make you happier if we just don't even do this condom thing. I do have a condom on me if we need it, but science says we don't. Science and God. I mean, God and science have finally agreed at one point. The Catholics and the scientists hard working at University of Albany agree that you should get raw dog to be happier. They're saying it's because the semen absorption and all that. I think it's just one sex is better than the other. So they go on to say 1 teaspoon of semen contains over 200 proteins. If you said, see, this is where it can get weird. 200 protein just means like types of protein. Change that to 200 grams of protein in one shot of semen, and there'd be bodybuilders on their knees at the gym all day long, bro. That is a huge, like, concentration of semen for like a small thing, right? How much is the usual load? 2 tablespoons to a teaspoon, depending on your age and diet and all that shit. But if you said 1 teaspoon of semen contains over 200 grams of protein, bro, the gyms it'd be gay sex galore if it ain't already. I know I hear some saunas, there's some wild shit going on. I haven't seen that, but honestly, if that was happening, I'd like the sauna so much. I'm just like, guys, just fucking stay in that corner over there, do whatever you got to do, and just keep the noise down. I got 15 minutes left in this thing. I'm trying to get these heat shock proteins. You're trying to get something else. You're trying to get heat shock proteins in another way. I just like the sauna, so I would never let gay sex cut me out of my sauna time. So there's 200 types of proteins and several helpful vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C, calcium, chlorine, citric acid, fructose, and more. I feel like those are the ingredients in Sunny D. Vitamin C, calcium, chlorine, citric acid, fructose. Bro, that is Sunny D, bro. Ladies, drink some Sunny D and get raw dogged, and I bet you'll be happier than whatever the hell this study's saying. I'm not saying this study's bullshit. I'm just saying I got questions. Always got questions. All right, we're going to move on to the next story. Okay. This one's more emotional, guys. This one's more emotional. Lack of regular sex, lack of tenderness and love, and lack of motivation from a partner are the main drawbacks of being single, study finds. Female study participants rated the lack of support to be more important disadvantage than male. So for this study, with all I mentioned, this hurts women more than men. lack of sex, tenderness, love, and lack of motivation. I mean, the last three for sure. Tenderness, love, and then motivation from a partner. Like if you're with someone that motivates you to do shit, bro, that's a feeling like none other. I posted something on my story. It was like it should have been a tweet, but I just post stuff on the black screen on Instagram. And it was like, if the love don't make you want to topple a small to medium sized government, then I don't want it. And that stemmed from the feeling of like being motivated by somebody, just from their presence. They're not even telling you anything. They're not telling you to be better. It's just the connection that you have with them gets you to a point where you're like, how can I live a life to where me and this person can live the life? That's from my own personal experience as well. If anybody has that with their partner, great, or has at some point, right? Who knows? Maybe that doesn't last the whole relationship. Maybe it's periodic or whatever. But you definitely need tenderness, love. Like you need physical touch. That's one thing I don't have a lot of these days. I've been getting messages on my Instagram about me, dude. You're probably fucking so bad. I have not had sex in like since my last relationship. And I think I might have mentioned this last podcast. I'm not. My whole phase is done. I've learned all there is to learn from the phase of the hoe. If it was a Star Wars movie, it would be episode 3, the phase of the hoe. And I did that. We accomplished, everything was hanging in the balance and I made it through. We're good. Your boy's looking for something deeper. And the tenderness, man, that word gives me the warm and fuzzies. Love and lack. I think those are the 3 most important things. And then if you have those 3 and then you have the sex, dude, I mean, I feel like if you have those 3 and you have the sex and you have the connection, you can reach ecstasy with just like what people would call plain Jane sex. I think you'd be able to reach ecstasy I'm talking about just missionary. People who shit on missionary, you're looking at it weirdly. Missionary is a fire ass position. People, I guess it's more like, oh, you only do missionary. And my point is that if you have all these things and you only did missionary, you could arguably have the best sex of your life with missionary. Missionary is intimate as fuck, and it's fucking hot. All right, just getting turned on my podcast now. This is great. Cool. Lack of regular sex, tenderness. All right, so let's see. Researchers found that participants who had stronger social support discounted the disadvantages of singlehood more than participants who had. So if you're going to be single, you better have some friends is what that's what that's saying. If you're going to be single, have a strong support group to help you get through it. If you find yourself jumping from relationship to relationship, I would check your friend group. Like, how connected are you to them that you need to be in a romantic relationship constantly? We all know people like that. Oh, and then it says, additionally, participants who considered singlehood as more costly exercise more mating effort than participant who. So what do they mean by costly? I don't know if this is financial, because it says it's centered around women too. It's like women. I guess it would cost more money for a woman to be single than because usually a lot of times the man pays. It's So a woman can save money. It usually goes up for a guy financially, but at what cost? Everything comes at a cost. You might save a little bit on your bank account, $400 or $500 a month. But what is it costing you emotionally to be with this person if you're only with someone for the money? I'm saying there's a cost there. But I don't know if this just only talking about the financial cost or the more like metaphorical cost of like emotional and all that. Lack of regular sex, lack of tenderness and love, and lack of motivation from a partner are the main drawbacks of being single. Those are huge fucking drawbacks. But here's the thing. At the same time, you want to learn how to be single. You want to learn how to be alone. I think if you could master being alone and then you get into a relationship, that's the sweet spot. Know that you can be alone, because then there's the pathological side of being alone where you're alone for so long that it becomes detrimental, like what this is saying. Right? You've closed yourself off emotionally. You're dying a little bit inside. I like the idea of like you got to learn how to be independent and also not codependent, but like cooperative. Some people are great at being independent and not so much at being cooperative. And I think that can be an issue. I think there needs to be a balance. And then there's people who can't be independent So they can't even be, they're not even being cooperative. They're just being codependent because they feel like they can't survive without somebody else. So, man, learn how to be single. Dude, life's a fucking doozy, right? At one moment, you think you got it, and then the rug gets slipped out from under you. Then there's a point in life where everything's good and you're waiting for the foot to drop, right? All of us that are healing and recover, you're like, this is too, the idea of too good to be true. I think that's a hurt person's mentality. That's like a person needs to heal. Like, why do you feel like it's too good to be true? You feel like you don't deserve it? Um, I'm going through the process of questioning those thoughts myself. So that's why I bring it up to you guys as a question. Do you feel like the life you're living is too good to be true right now? And why do you think that? That's it for Fred Talk. You like that? I'm trying to end it like Jerry Springer now from now on, bro. In Jerry Springer's memory, we're gonna end it off on like question of the day on some, on some we out here shit. On some I love you, we out here shit. All right. Bye.